guys, what's up? What's up? What's up? I just wanted to quickly come on and talk about what's going on. Just a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. An absolute mess. And I wanted to come on and just quickly talk about what's going on. I'm getting alerts right now as we're talking. I'm getting alerts right now. I just wanted to come on and hang out with you guys. So feel free to pop in the chats. I talked about on Instagram the importance of technology in this whole situation. So I just wanted to kind of come on and hang out and talk more about that. And I said in the comments that I was going to go live, and here I am. But I want to talk about everything that's going on in Russia. We're not going to be on here long, but just the role that technology plays in this situation and also moving forward in general and in our lives in general, what technology is doing. And to me, it just seems like, well, first I want to go ahead and read the headlines to you. And if you are not following me on Instagram, I definitely suggest that you do, because I drop some really cool tech info about how to get into tech, different things going in there, and also nonprofit stuff that you can check out as well. But I want to talk about an article that recently was released from TechCrunch. And it talks about, and I'll just read it here for you. It talks about the attack began with cyber attacks that targeted the Ukraine government. And it talks about how it flooded the internet and it completely wiped their data and just released malware. And then they decided to, after that, go in on land. It's insane what's happening right now. But the number one thing, and I just feel so terrible about what's happening, and the number one thing that really stood out to me was how they started, how they prepared for this attack, and what was vulnerable, and how do you overcome that. But the focal point is the fact that it was technology. It was technology. When you read exactly what they did and how they started it, they initially started with floods of internet traffic as one, wiping their data, releasing malware, and followed by ground, sea, air, and that's after the fact. And the thing that stood out to me is we're in 2022 moving forward. We're never going backwards. We're never going backwards. Obviously, when you look at strategy from the art of war and various tactics before the point of time that we live in today with technology, you think of foot soldiers and traffic and isolating key resources and essentials, food, land, access, and really focusing on that. But this right here, it says the first thing they did was attack the technology. They attacked the technology first. They said the Ukraine government flooded the internet, wiped their data, released malware, and then followed up with the ground, sea, air, and all of that. And what that says to me is you have to realize that cyber attacks were first, the data wipes, the data breaches, the malware. When you take down the entire system, take down the internet, you can bring a company, you can bring a state, you can bring a region. It doesn't matter. You can bring it to its knees by attacking its technology. And I've been saying this for so long. I've been saying this forever, and people think I think some people probably think I'm insane when they're like, oh my God, why are you so obsessed with technology? I'm like, you don't understand. I don't think you see it. I don't think you understand the fundamentals of how technology will infiltrate not our society as we know it today, but your children's society, actually your children's society and your children's society. We just happen to be in a really, I want to say, the line of demarcation. We just happen to be born in that time frame where technology seems optional. It's not. And we just happen to be in that time frame where you as a person are kind of leaning on your parents' experiences. You need to erase all of that. Release how you grew up, remove their experiences, and you can really focus on what's happening today. What's happening today is starting with technology and starting with cyber attacks and cyber warfare. And it goes on to say that's exactly how they were able to infiltrate. And I want to talk about this because I've been talking about this for a while, and I want to talk to people out there that are guardians or plan to steward young people in the future, because that's what everyone does. Everyone gives back. And I I want to emphasize, stop acting like it's your parents' life, your parents' world. Stop bringing that, and I know it's hard, but you have to unlearn everything that they've told you about technology, because you'll be out here like, oh, kids don't need screen time. Kids don't need this, they don't need that. There's no other time in our society where they need it more. They need to learn technology. They need to adapt to technology. They need to adopt technology. They need coding skills, technical skills, because it is not the traditional warfare, foot soldier type of experience. It is literally cyber warfare, and you have to be equipped with that. The first attack was not a bomb. The first attack was cybersecurity, cyber warfare. And I think this is really important because you have to teach and prepare your generation, future generations, to learn technical skills. And you think like, why? Why should I learn technical skills? You should learn technical skills for a couple of reasons. This should definitely show you should learn technical skills for a couple of reasons. You should learn technical skills because you'll be in demand for employment. Everyone's going to be looking for you. You will be in demand for employment. Cybersecurity, because again, as we saw today, data breaches, taking, like, just infiltrating a region, or I don't want to say the W word because I just, that just works my life. But you see, the first step into how you take down a society is through technology. The reason that you should advocate for yourself to learn technology, and also children to learn technology, is because they need to, one, be secure in employment. That's what they need to do. They need to have actual skills. And second, they need to protect themselves. You cannot walk around not knowing how to protect yourself in a world where technology and cyber warfare is first. And it just blows my mind when people are saying, we have to get kids off the computers. We can't do, and I'm always just like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? You should encourage screen time. You should encourage opportunities for kids to learn video games, coding, hardware exercises, take computers apart, as much screen time as they can handle, as much and as much coding time, learning as they can possibly handle, because that's their life. Their life isn't your life. Mm-mm. Their life is not your life. And that's what you should really focus on. I really wanted to come in and say that, because it's so important to realize the way that school systems train children and the way that they train just in general. We already know it's outdated. Nobody's trying to fix it. So what I'm encouraging you to do, if that's within your capacity, or you are experienced in cybersecurity, or developer, or in any space where you have a technical skill, encourage someone that you're close to. Encourage a neighbor, a child, volunteer at a nonprofit. Just, I think the number one thing that I want to say to everybody here watching is, create the space, create the conversation. And one thing that I've noticed also a lot on Instagram is, I don't understand why they're still teaching cursive. I don't know why they're still teaching cursive at school. And I feel like we need to focus on code, not cursive. Hashtag code, not cursive. There is cursive is a font. So you mean to tell me you're out here teaching people fonts? That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to me. You out here teaching people fonts. For real? You teaching people fonts when their world is going to be dictated and predicated on code, on technical skills, on how they can work in the tech industry. So I say that to say, shout out to everyone who is advocating for people to learn technical skills. And again, hashtag code not cursive. Code not cursive. Stop teaching cursive. Oh, we out here teaching fonts. I don't know. I can't even believe it. I really can't, y'all. I can't even. Oh, wow. Okay. That's my, speaking of coding, that's my hacker group right here, girl. Okay. Yeah. So I just want to come on. I'm literally like just in sweatpants and my t-shirt. And as you can see, but I feel so terrible for the situation that's happening. And it's an awful situation. And then when I saw the article, I thought, now this article is telling, is very, very telling. This article is very telling. It says technology is first. And this is one of the reasons why I love technology. I love technology more than anything. I can't think of anything that I love that even comes close. I love technology because it's the only thing that's really going to change your world and your society. And not even just your world. When I think of technology, I think of, for example, someone who works in technology. Learning a technical skill and working in technology not only changes your life, it changes your lineage. It changes your legacy. It changes your child's life. Because if you're a person who goes from maybe $30,000, I think like the average is $40,000 a year for America. If you're watching America, it's like $40,000, and then you go to $150,000 or even $100,000. You go to $100,000, you go to six figures because now you have this technical skill that's life changing money. That's life changing. Before you weren't able to maybe put your kid in a good school. And now I don't want to say give your kid everything because I don't like that notion. But as far as now you're able to provide a life for yourself, clearly, obviously, first, like you're able to provide a life for yourself, but the number one thing I think is you're able to provide an extraordinary experience for your family. That removes a lot of the hurdles and burdens that keeps people from being successful. When you have certain demographics that are perpetually experiencing systematic issues due to lack of finances and resources, it's hard to escape that. And one study by Malcolm Gladwell, he talks about how it doesn't matter. I have to think of the study, but he talks about how it doesn't matter how smart you are, how maybe you're like just born extremely talented. It is extremely difficult to overcome poverty. You can be Albert Einstein, but stuck in poverty. And that study it speaks to me on so many levels because when I think of getting into the tech industry and helping people get into the tech industry, I think of you're not just getting this person a job, you're removing hurdles for people and hurdles for their children. And now their child will never be in poverty. They won't have to worry about rent. They won't have to worry about a mortgage. They'll have a house. They'll be free to explore and free to be Albert Einstein. Basically, they're about to be Steve Jobs. I feel like that's what's happening. I feel like they're about to be Steve Jobs because I helped them learn about tech and get into tech. And you're changing the child's life. It just goes on and on. So that's the way I think about when I think about the tech industry and getting into tech and how transformative it is. And you always hear that term that people are talking about that's really, really hot right now is generational wealth. And you see all of these people talk about generational wealth. And one of the phrases that I've come to find out is they always say like, oh, I got it from the mud and my child won't have to get it from the mud too. And what I think that means is it means I had to struggle so my kid won't struggle. It's that. It's about working hard, having impact, and being able to say, because I think that's a proud thing to do. Like, I feel like a lot of really, because the tech industry is wildly populated by men, and I feel like a lot of the men that I've come across, they hold that in a masculine energy. They're like really masculine about the fact that they are providers. Like they know that they contribute to society. Obviously, they love what they do, and even if they don't, I say this too. Side note: even if you don't love what you do, people out here working for $40,000 and they don't love what they do. So I'm sure you can work, and like what you do for 200,000. I'm sure you can do it. So I say that to say, that's the way I think of getting into the tech industry. But this situation with the Russia Ukraine situation, I wanted to just take some time to talk about the implications of what that looks like and what that means. And I know we kind of veered off as to why you need to get a job in cybersecurity, become an engineer, developer, software engineer, and all of those different things. But it really comes down to looking at this article, how the first thing they did was flood of internet traffic, wiping out data, releasing malware. Like it was full on cyber war. And the military was a second thought. They was like, oh yeah, now that we took you down, let's throw in some people. Those foot so and when you look at this from 50 years ago, you would never think that. You would be like, oh, okay, it's gonna be foot. No, we are never going back to where we used to be. Understand technology is here, it is growing exponentially. See, I want you to fully understand you cannot guide your child for how you grew up and what you experienced, because their world will not be that whatsoever. We, as I said earlier, we just happen to be in an interesting intersection where it's passing that baton. It's never going back. And the reason that I wanted to just talk about the technology in this situation is also because we're looking here, and I'm going to bring this up as well, that President Biden has reported he's been looking at cyber attack options that he can deploy, that America can step in and deploy. One being disrupting the internet connectivity across Russia. That's the response. We'll shut down the internet. We'll shut the power. We'll the roadways and all of these things. But if you do not understand how technology works, you're going to be lost. You're absolutely going to be lost. And I think that this is, I want to talk about that, but also the fact of why it's so important for you to get into the game. And one, so you will have a skill that is in demand. Have a skill that's in demand. And two, because you can change your legacy and change your life. Code, not cursive, girl. Chestnut checkers. Code, not cursive. Chestnut checkers. Hashtag code, not cursive. Y'all follow me on Instagram and let me know that you watch this. Hashtag code, not cursive. Why are we in here teaching these kids cursive? Why are we teaching fonts? What's next? Roman Times Roman New, Slim, Thick. I don't know. It just blows my mind. It blows my mind. We out here teaching fonts when you need to be out here learning a code and learning technical skills and languages. Again, I don't want to go on a rant. I've been ranting, but I want to say, make sure that if you're coming across, because this is a real conversation when people are always like, oh, screen time. Give as much screen time as possible to these kids. They're not growing up in your world. They're growing up in a world with cyber attacks. They're growing up in a world like literally, this is happening right now. They're growing up in a world where they are flooding traffic. They're wiping data. They're releasing malware. You need to know how to defend yourself against that. So let's talk about these three things. 1, 2, 3. 1, you need to have these skills so you can be employable. Come on, because this ain't going nowhere. It's not going to stop. It's just going to it's going to grow exponentially. That's 1, have the skill set. 2, we're looking at once you have the skill set, now you can advocate for your legacy and your lineage. You can change your life. Again, going from a $40,000 a year average American salary to a cool $150,000, $200,000 a year, that changes your family's life. It allows your family, your wife, your husband to live a different life and help them grow. That's what you want. That's what you want. That's what you want. And lastly, it really will just help you protect yourself. It will help you protect yourself. You don't want to be out here talking about, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure. I think somebody hacked my stuff. No. And it goes into ransomware, just all sorts of stuff. I'm telling you, it's something that I think we need to address. So I just had to come on live and talk about that because I talked about it a little bit on Instagram, and it's really, really worked my entire soul. So yeah, guys, make sure to check me out on Instagram and follow along, and make sure to subscribe to this channel because I'm going to upload more focused on tech and specifically centered around how to get into tech. And also, obviously, when you are following me, you know that I talk about tech in two specific contexts. And one pathway specifically is obviously the tech life, which you're learning technical skills, and you are maybe you want to work at Google and you want to work at Fang, you want to work at Facebook or whatever. And the second is the startup world and the startup life. And those are two separate paths in the tech industry that I think they have their unique pros and cons and benefits, but I think everyone should explore to see which one works best for them. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. And I just want to come on in my sweatpants and tell y'all, you got to get into these technical skills, y'all. And comment below too. Tell me what code language do you know? What are we doing? Like what? We doing PHP, we doing Python, we doing R, we doing C++, we doing Java, JavaScript. What we doing? And also, I'm telling you, it is hot for you. If you know any of those languages I just mentioned, it is hot for you. Recruiters are just going to be begging for you because, again, what we're seeing with Russia, what we're seeing with the Ukraine, this is not going to stop. This is just starting. You guys are witnessing it now. It is not going to stop. It is just starting. And I say that in the context of we're seeing these countries and we're seeing takeovers and we're seeing hostile takeovers. And obviously it's a terrible situation. And we are, as I just read, waiting for America's response to this. And their response was also in cyber warfare and cybersecurity. So yeah, that's the area that I would love for you to focus on. And so if you have any questions or curious on how to get into tech or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me and I will catch you next time. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Again, I want to come on in my sweatpants and tell you, get into tech in some capacity. And also, P.S., you don't have to learn a code. You can get into tech in other areas. And if you don't know, feel free to reach out. Happy to chat. Happy to tell you. Happy to tell you about it. All right, guys. I will see you next time. And I think I'm just going to chat a bit on Instagram and just like, yo, what's up? I can't believe the situation with Russia and the Ukraine. And I just really wanted to talk about the tech aspect of things because I think people can overlook that. But no, look what they attacked first. First, the army people, like that military people, the little Air Force and snipers and all those people. Second thought, they came in after they attacked the technology. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for checking this out, and I will see you soon. Thanks, guys. Make sure to subscribe and comment below and tell me more things that you want to see in tech because we can make that happen. All right, guys. See you next time. I'm Liberty Madison, that tech girl. I'll see you later. Bye.